All right, welcome to Global Leadership Interview Series. My name is Kathy Kelly, and I'm a transformational healer and coach at IGL, the Institute for Global Leadership. And I am so excited to be able to be here today with David Kasper. David is currently the owner of Elevate Training Academy. I'm going to read his bio because I do not want to miss anything, all right? So David is currently the owner of Elevate Training Academy, which is a leadership program that delivers transformation and emotional intelligence training online. It's based in Chicago, Illinois. David's passion in life is people, being a stand for others, creating love and inspiration wherever he goes, and supporting people in their own path to find their true authentic selves. Entertainingly enough, David was in the first season of So You Think You Can Dance, which is really, you get to make that's a claim to fame, David. So he has taught hip hop classes all over the country, and he's actually been an international DJ working in multiple clubs and private events throughout the world. David holds a black belt in karate, and he is a very gifted dancer. Speaking from personal experience, I've seen it, and he is. David is a powerful, present, loving leader who loves people and is a big kid at heart, with his favorite place being Disneyland, which is, thank you. So, really, David, how did you get from Disneyland to transformational leadership? What created that shift, and how do you integrate the two? But we'll go there later. Let's see how you.
That's such a funny question. I've always been a big kid at heart. I love Disney is all about joy and happiness and love. I mean, that is the essence of Disney, which ties in perfectly into transformation for me, which is about creating love and joy and inspiration in the world and with everyone you come across. So the two actually tie in together perfectly.
Yeah, they absolutely do. So what is transformational leadership in comparison to conventional leadership? What is the difference? What does that mean?
For me, I was taught how to be a leader by my father, and my father's way of leading was controlling. So it was stand up, take control, make it happen no matter what. So I've always been in leadership type roles. My dad always taught me to be in control of my situation. So I was always that person. I would just take control and I'd start going. And when I went through the transformational training program, it was leadership. The difference was something I did versus it now became a way of being. Whereas being a leader isn't about controlling people. And being a leader, learning different ways of being a leader in order to bring people together, in order to inspire people versus forcing people to do something or controlling or manipulating. So that was the biggest difference that I noticed between what I was originally taught of what it means to be a leader versus what transformational leadership has taught me. And for me now, what it means to be a leader in my life is that I am the sole uncontested author of my life. I am responsible for everything that happens around me, where if I want a different result in my life, I get to take different actions. And I'm no longer a victim to my feelings, to my circumstances, to my surroundings, where I am the one that is standing as responsible to create the results in my life that I want to make happen. And that is a much more powerful and empowering place to be than just, all right, I hope something's going to happen, or I wish something was going to happen, or I want something, or I'm going to try my best. But no, I'm going to make it happen because I said so. And then going back to the whole, I'm going to make it happen because I said so, not in a controlling way, but in a way that creates love, that creates connection, that inspires and empowers everybody around me.
That is a really powerful example. And so how many years have you been in transformational leadership? When did you jump in?
2017.
2017. So just really, would you speak to the powerfulness that, like, the shifts that have occurred in your life? 2017 is, it 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And the level at which your life has shifted and changed in 3 years is monumental. So can you just speak a little bit to, where you were, what happened, and where you are now? Please.
Yeah, absolutely. I have always been the type of person I've always been successful in my life. But for me, it was success without fulfillment. There was something missing in my life. And I was at a point where I had checked off all the boxes. I had been married and gotten divorced. I was living downtown Chicago in the John Hancock building on the 70th floor. I had 2 cars. I now was about to buy a house. So I was checking off all the boxes. I traveled, but I was missing something. I wasn't fulfilled, and I didn't know what that was. And then I had this moment with a homeless man where I ended up getting a homeless man a hotel room for a night so he could get a clean shower. And this gentleman was just so thankful that I did this for him. It was just this, for me, the $100 on a hotel room, which was, nothing, was this grand gesture that really meant the world to him and made a huge difference for him. And in that moment, when we were standing outside on the corner, he asked me, is it okay if I share the hotel room with my friend who sits across the street? And in my head, I'm like, what homeless person just gets offered a gift and he's now sharing it with the next person? That his generosity blew me away. And as I did that, I realized that I am meant for more in this world than just what I've been doing so far. So I had this moment of, I'm meant to be doing more to create a bigger impact in the world, but I didn't know what that was. And my best friend told me about the training, and I did my training out in Los Angeles. And for me, it was the most inspiring and empowering thing that I had ever experienced in my life. I saw people enter the training, shut down, scared, afraid, and being controlled by moments of their past that they're still holding on to. And then now I see them completing the training, letting go of the pain of the past, walking out as just a free person, loving and hugging and open and vulnerable and taking risks and confident and powerful. And for me, I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. I'm meant to share this experience with everybody I come across. And so for me, I found my purpose in the training. And it's shifted. The biggest thing it's shifted my relationships with people, with my family, specifically my mother. It has brought me and my mother closer than ever, which has been just the most beautiful thing. And that was just me going through the training. She at the time, she hadn't done the training. I go through the training, and now my relationship with my mother is incredible. And now my mom has now done the training. My mom is actually currently in the training right now, and we're now even closer than ever. And it's been the most beautiful thing. So things like shifting my relationships have been incredible, because going back to what I said about what it means for me to be a leader, where if I want a different result in my life, I get to take different actions instead of saying, well, my mom's this way, my mom's doing this, I can't do anything, I can't control her, right? Being a victim to my mom, to just say, what can I do differently? How can I approach her differently? How can I communicate more effectively?
Yeah.
And that's what shifted. And it all is mindset. It's all how you view any situation. It's your perspective. So from that, another huge thing for me was my dad passed this past October. And that was the most difficult experience I've ever had to deal with in my life. And I was extremely close with my father and all those feelings and emotions. And I'm so grateful for the tools that I've learned over these past 3 years within the transformational training program, so that when my father passed, it didn't just shut me down. Of course, I felt sad, and there was a lot of grief there, but I now had all these tools on how to move through that powerfully and how to view that, going back to mindset, learning how to embrace and accept it versus resist it and fight against it, and to see the love in this situation, to see the beauty.
Powerful. Yes. Wow. So what I'm hearing you say, and so I just want to pause for a minute on that, because that's huge what you just shared, David. What I heard you say is that you actually, you lost your dad. And this work, the transformational work, supported you beyond anything you ever would have imagined it could have done through that. And it still is, because grief is a process. So you're and to have the relationship that you're able to have with your mom is 100%. Tremendous. So,
yeah. Thank you. It's, I've learned that it's okay for me to feel my feelings and to experience my experience. My father, who I love dearly and, taught me so many beautiful things. There were a few things that weren't the most effective that he taught me. My dad was very old school. As I said, being that leader and controlling people didn't ultimately create the results I wanted in my life. And, my dad also taught me to stuff my feelings and don't show emotion and don't cry. And it wasn't until I went through the training that I learned what it means to be vulnerable and to see that as a strength and a superpower, and allow myself to feel those feelings and allow myself to cry and express it and share it, so that I can feel it, I can experience it, and I can let it go. So it doesn't control me. So I think about my father and cry often, every week. I have my moments and I allow myself to feel it and experience it, and then I let it go. And as I feel it, my mindset is that pain is there and that sadness is there because he loved me so much and because I loved him so much. So to me, that's love. And this serves as a reminder of how much he loved me and how much I love him. So I go immediately from crying into smiling, because it's that mindset, it's that interpretation of the event and allowing myself to feel it. And then I let go of that sadness and the pain, and then I'm back in my day.
Right. And bringing in, transformational leadership brings in emotional intelligence.
100%.
And what I'm hearing you share is is pieces of that. It's part of that. You get to bring in emotional intelligence. You get to bring it in, who you are, how you feel. And speak to for me a little bit, please. You've answered already the question of who transformational leadership is for, because you've already talked about you've talked about your mom, you've taught, it's like, so in general, what I'm hearing you say is it's for everybody, right? But Absolutely. I'd like you to also speak to, you can please elaborate on that, but also speak to, you shared with us that you were very successful. You already had the stuff. So let's just hear a little bit about how this also influences business. Like this is something that's in your mom's life, and it's also in your life as a businessman. So, it covers all areas. So if you'd speak to that a little bit, I would really appreciate
the short answer is it is for everybody. And more specifically, it's for people who want to elevate their life, who want to step up their life in certain categories, whether it's business, in their business life, in their relationships, in their family, in their health, and their spiritual. Life is a journey, life is a process. So there's always, we all always have room for growth. So anybody who's interested in growing, in learning, in becoming the best version of themselves and seeing what's holding them back in their life. Because we've all had moments in our past that have shut us down, caused us to play small, have taken away a little bit of our confidence or our self-worth, causes us to put up some walls. So the training really has a way of making you aware of those walls and giving you the tools to break through, to get your confidence back, to get your self-worth back, to get your passion back. And so it has the potential to allow you to excel in any area. So it's anybody who wants to take on their life, who's ready to step it up, that says, I'm tired of just going through the motions of life. Society says I'm supposed to live my life this way. I go to school, I get a job, I get married, I retire. But there's something missing. I'm not fulfilled. My life is not a 10 in all areas. So this training will show you how you can make it a 10 in all areas. And I've seen it happen to myself. I've seen it happen to my friends. I've seen it happen to strangers. And that's ultimately why I've chosen to become a trainer myself, and why I opened up my center in Chicago, because everybody gets to go. Everybody gets to experience this.
And elaborate a bit on that, David, because centers are popping up all over and centers are available. So with even, we're doing this interview right now, 6 months, 7 months into COVID-19, right? So share a little bit about the ease, please, in which these trainings are actually available for everybody at this point.
So I was supposed to open up my center in May. We were about to make our announcement in March. And then right as we're about to make the announcement of the center opening, COVID happens. And there was this moment of, okay, what now? And one of the tools of the trainings, one of the things that I've learned over the years is to see all obstacles as an opportunity. So there was an opportunity here, whereas most people that I've come across, COVID, coronavirus, shut down, life sucks, 2020 is the worst year ever. Versus, okay, there's an opportunity here. I can shift the training. What can we do differently? What's the opportunity? And traditionally, the training has been done in person in a ballroom over a weekend, and we've now the different centers have created different ways to deliver the training in a virtual setting on Zoom. And it's been absolutely beautiful and just as powerful, and it's been incredible, so that the training now lives on. There have been some cities that are still able to do the training in person, which is great. Many cities are doing it online. As you said, there's multiple centers popping up. And what's so great is many of the centers are in communication with each other. We're working together. We're talking about and communicating what's working, what's not working. How can we support each other? So we're all lifting each other up versus, nope, this is mine. I'm not telling you what I'm doing.
Yes.
And it creates connection, it creates team, it creates love. And it's such a beautiful way of living in the world. And that's what I'm about.
Yes. And whether, as for myself personally, I have been a student and I've been a coach in both virtual and in-person trainings. And my personal experience is, it's perfect exactly where you are. Whether you're online or whether you're in person, it is absolutely perfect. They are both phenomenal in how they are and how they shift our lives. Yes. Yes.
When I shifted from doing it in person and created a way to deliver the training online, it's not so much about the actual experience in person, because what we're teaching and what we're offering people are tools to take into your life so that you can create the life you want to live. So it's not about this moment that we're together. It's what are the tools that you are taking away from this moment that you are now bringing into your life. And so my mindset was, how can we shift some of the experience so that we can still deliver the tools so that the takeaways are still the same. The takeaways are just as powerful. And that's what we did. And it's proving to be extremely effective.
Absolutely. And it gives, as you shared, the ability for centers to connect on, I do energy work, right? So on an energetic level, but on the human, like tactile level too, because you get to be with other centers, with other people. There's not a break in continuity. So you're taking your transformational leadership worldwide.
Yeah.
Which is phenomenal.
It's such a shift. I still own, I own an entertainment and production company. I do a lot of private events, sending out DJs and MCs. We do a lot of bar and bat mitzvahs. We do a lot of high school dances, and there's a lot of competition in the North Shore of Chicago. And So many of the DJs don't work together to support. It's this cutthroat, I have to get business. It's very money driven. And after I went through the training, it shifted. It's not about the money, it's about connection. And I have a different relationship with my employees now. I have a different relationship with my clients now. And it's just a different way of living and existing in the world, where what's important to me is connection. What's important to me is my vision and my passion and what inspires me, and bringing my best to everything that I do. And when I do that, the money is always there. And now I have a team of people that are playing the game of life in a very similar fashion, where we're all supporting each other. We're all building each other up. We're not trying to knock each other down to get to the top. We're trying to lift each other so we all get to the top together. And it just creates a beautiful experience of life that I wouldn't change for anything.
Absolutely. So thank you very, very much for sharing that. And thank you. We're gonna start to bring, like, that's the high note we're gonna get to complete on today. Like, you wouldn't change anything. Like, it's exactly the way it's supposed to be. And I just, I want to thank you very much for spending this time with us today. And thank you very much for sharing, and your enthusiasm and your zest for this work. Just anybody who's watching this, I get to let you know, this is not a 15 or 16 minute thing that David is showing us. This is actually how David lives his life. I've seen him in the world, and this is how, like, he literally walks the walk. And it's possible for all of us to do that too. So thank you very, very much for coming in and spending this time with us. And thank everybody who's watching. And, David, David's Elevate Training Academy. So the website is at I'm going to do this correct, myetachicago.com.
Yes, myetachicago.com.
myetachicago.com to check it out, and globalleadership.com, Institute of Global Leadership.com, IGL, both centers, and multiple others. But really, check it out, see what, go on and connect. So it's been great. It's been wonderful to have you here today. And thank you so much for spending the time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Kathy. I appreciate it.
You are very welcome.